What's up, people? Okay. These people are loud, so hello, people. Hello, people. I see Jessica. I see you. What's going on, Reg? Everybody. Hey, what's going on? Jill. What's up, kid? Hey, Jill. There's something in your settings. It's not bringing. It's not letting me add you. It's not even bringing that as a consideration. Say something. Hey, Candace. Hey, can y'all help? Nye, dude, what's up? Can y'all help? What's up, Q? Can y'all help Angel figure out how to set her settings so she can be added? Because I want to add her on here, and the thing didn't come up. What's up, Richard? What's up, Nye? How y'all doing? I'm just gonna wait for two more seconds, and I'm gonna start. I don't feel a long anointing, but we'll see what happens. What's up, Mr. Harvey? What's up, Ro? I'm trying to see too. If Ray, if you watching. What's up, T? Rays, if you watching. No, I see you, Jill, but it's not letting me. It's not bringing you. It's not letting me bring. It's not, the add button is not showing up on your email. It's not showing up on your on my screen. Nye, can one of y'all call Angel and see what's happening on her end? Until then, what's up, everybody? What's going on? I'm in my car right now. I got somewhere to be, but I wanted to drop something. Oh, Reginald. Oh, brother. You know, I actually, the reason why I didn't go to the court, Reg, is that, you know, the scripture says lucky people will always be amongst you. So what happened the last time is never going to happen again. So you have your glory. Thank you, Ro, telling. That was good, Seal. So that was just that one time, bro. Like, that wasn't, and don't bring that shenanigans on here on my live, bro. Like, it's all good. I'm not tripping. Oh man, hey, I'm not gonna waste my breath. Yeah, I did get whooped, kid. I ain't gonna even lie. He for the first time, Reggie did something out there. But you know, it is what it is. Exactly. How many times did I block him? I called him my son when I blocked him. Listen, okay, for real. Let me get serious. So, if you're on here, I want you to share this with your friends. This is a session 5 live that I'm doing right now, and I want to make sure that we give you. I want you to have permission to dream. Is one of the things that we process. I'm getting to it, Seal. Dang, be quiet. So permission to dream, specifically talking about being caught between life and responsibility. Being caught between life and responsibility. And so tonight I want to dedicate this Facebook post to my mother. And I also want to give a shout out specifically. What's up, Jen? I want to give a specific shout out to Miss Belinda in Tucson, Arizona. She is a motivation for this. And I'll tell you about Miss Belinda. We went out to Tucson last year, and Miss Belinda was a person that came to our session 5, and while she was sitting there, she was listening to me talk, and I was, talking about the permission to dream piece of it. And I was saying, I pointed to her, and I talked to her about. I said, I give you permission to dream again. Now she's she's not old, but just older, more seasoned. And I asked her what did she want to do, and what she said was, she said, I want to write songs. She said, I used to write songs, and she said, I haven't written it for forever. I said, really? But when you look at Miss Belinda, I don't know what a songwriter looks like, but that wasn't what I expected her to say, or any of us. We didn't expect that. We expected something different. But when she said, I write songs, and so right there, I just said, you know what? I said, write a song and bring it to us tomorrow. And some of the team members were like, hey, encouraging her to do that. She came back the next day, and she was digging something out of her trunk that had been there forever, that had something on there about music or something that was in her trunk that she had piled a whole bunch of stuff on. And she piled so much stuff on this thing, she forgot about it. And I said, that is a image of what's in your mind about your dream. You basically pile stuff on top of everything. Tate, what's up? Pile stuff on top of everything. All your dreams and your hopes, you just piled them in your trunk. And so she went and pulled that thing out. And the next day she came in, she wrote this beautiful song, and it caught us off guard, and we started singing it immediately. And I thought about it, is that most people don't give themselves permission to dream. Most people don't give themselves permission. Excuse me. And it's like I'm always processing what pushes people to act on their dream. And I actually wrote some stuff down here that what prevents them from acting on their dreams. So if this is you, I see Ray. Let me see if I can get Ray on here. Wait a minute. Oh, Ray, it ain't letting me get you on either, but it's I see Vicky watching, but I can't get you, Ray. What's up, Ren? So some reasons why people don't actually act on their dream, right? Some stuff that I've read. I got bills to pay. See, this is the part where I want to pause there on this piece. I got bills to pay, so I can't get to my dream because John, I gotta be responsible, which is true. So before I start talking about you ain't gotta be responsible or you gotta go after your dreams or whatever, the reality of it is that if you got bills to pay, the issue is gonna be I got to get up to go and get that money so I can make sure that I keep food in my kid's mouth. I got to keep stuff going. So that's one reason why people have a hard time going after their dreams, because if I'm at work, I don't have time to do what I desire to do. I don't have time, right? I hear that a lot. Another reason I hear people don't go after dreams, they're waiting for their kids to get grown, right? I'm waiting for my kids so then I can focus, because the reality of it is that now, I get it now too, with 11-year-old, there are, if you, some of y'all parents out there, you are there is a chauffeuring realm that's required for a little while, where you have to take them there, take them here, take them here, take them here. Like, when do you have time to do anything? So it's like, that's another reason why I'm waiting for my kids, to get older. And so I had this quote by Jim Carrey. He did this at a commencement, and I thought it was interesting. And he said this, he says, the decisions that we make in this moment are based on either love or fear. love or fear. He says the decisions that we make in this moment are based on love or fear. So many of us choose the path of our fear disguised as practicality. Now, that for me, I thought that was deep. What's up, Namai? I thought that was deep because literally he says so many of us, love you too, bro. So many of us choose, what we do is we actually choose fear, but it's disguised as practicality. So I got to wait until, us parents feel guilty for dreaming sometimes. Yeah. Like literally we are wired and designed sometimes to be ashamed of our own dreams based upon some of the cultural implications and things that the world system has placed on us, to be like, hey man, no, you can't dream about that right now. You can't process that right now. It's when Jim Carrey said some of our decisions are based on love or either fear, but most of us choose fear and we disguise it as practicality. I said, man, that's most people, because when life is happening, or when I have responsibilities, in some instance, those things become so difficult to press through. This is not a message to y'all to say, hey, leave your job tomorrow, for the record. Please go to work tomorrow. Please do that. That's not what this is. I want to encourage the ones that are out there and you on the grind and you try to take care of your families. I want to encourage those out there, you on the grind and our life is happening. This is another reason. One of my homeboys, he said, Jay, every time that I'm trying to do something in my life, like do something with my dream, life bogs my mind so much that I can't even get to it. I don't know if some of y'all can relate to that. Like sometimes life will beat you to the point to where life itself gets so distracting and it puts you in survival mode. The problem with the survival mode piece of things, the problem with it is that I have found that when I'm using all my faith just to get to the next day, I'm not using my faith for my goals and my dreams. I'm looking foggy right there. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. Go, there we go. And for me, I was at my homeboy's house. His name is Steven. And I was showing him one of my dreams. And this is what he said. I showed him one of my dreams and he told me out just right off the black. He said, bro, that ain't faith. And I got a little bit offended. I was like, hey, bro, check it out. You can't really say that to me, right? He said, it's not faith. I said, how can you say that what I'm doing is not faith? He said, because you do just like most Christians do, is what he said. And I got immediately offended. He says, what y'all do is, he says, you shoot the arrow or you shoot the dart first. And after you shoot the dart and the dart lands, then you draw a circle around it, a bullseye around it, and you say, I hit the mark. Well, he says, no, that's not faith. He said, it's not faith unless you draw the mark first and then shoot the arrow. He said, it's easy to shoot the dart first, let it land and then draw the circle and say, I made it. So many of us now, we play so small. And what we do, we allow ourselves to say we did something, and I'm not beating y'all up, just hear me out. We allow ourselves to say, hey, we did something, when really we allowed our fear not to set the mark first. And set the mark first and then shoot the arrow. I mean, this is the thing. How many people out there, you watching me right now, you got goals and dreams, but you're so hesitant. You want for God basically to do something that's so definite that'll cause you to move first because you're afraid. Something as simple as if you tell somebody, for example, if this is the thing about your mouth will make you draw the target first. It gives your faith somewhere to go. So if I tell y'all I'm doing a conference, my first conference in Fullerton at the Marriott, and I tell y'all that, right? Then your expectation, and I put a video out that says that's what I'm gonna do, and I do all these things that say, hey, this is what I'm doing. So I'm telling you, this is what I'm doing. So no matter what's happening in the background, no matter what's happening with finances in the background, no matter what's happening with whatever in the background, I told y'all that this is what I'm doing. It's interesting that once I commit my mouth to it, it creates an expectation on your side, and now all of a sudden that expectation is pushing me because I already drew the circle already. I drew the arrow and I drew the bullseye already. I said, this is where I'm going. This is what we're doing. And what I did first, before I did anything, I said it out loud. I said, hey, listen, and I told some people, this is what some of y'all, the first step to your vision, the first step to what you want to do, I dare you to even right now in your comments, like tell us all what you going to do. Tell us, hey, I'm about to write a book and it's going to be about this. I'm about to do this and it's going to be about this. Like if you could just get it out your mouth and let some other people see it, your faith will have a target. What's my first point? Your faith needs a target. Hear me well. Nothing wrong with survival mode. We all get there sometime. But your faith needs a target that's not connected to just surviving. Your faith needs a target that's connected to your future. Your faith needs a target that's connected to more than paying a bill. Nothing wrong with that. But it needs a different kind of target. PJ, you know what? I understand what you're saying. But I don't have time. I don't have time. Okay. Bishop, what's up? Bishop Juwan. I don't have time. Okay. Let's deal with the time piece of it. If you're taking notes, this is the point I want you to have. Spend whatever time you have spend whatever time you have with your vision. Whatever time you got with your vision, spend that time. Let me explain. You go to work for 8 hours, you go to work for 12 hours. The reality of it is that after you work, you don't have energy. Let's keep it 100. You don't have energy, and most of the time you're tired. You already know that. So you don't have energy energy and you're tired. Your first thing when you go home is you want to decompress. Nothing wrong with that either. I want to admonish you to do so. But this is what I'm telling you. If there's a way that you can schedule, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, I don't care if it's 10 minutes, I don't care if it's 30 minutes, whatever time you got to spend. Your faith has to sit in the vision that you see. Your faith has to sit in that for a period of time. Let me tell you, I tell people all the time, your biggest asset in your life is imagination, because God uses your imagination to activate faith. Most of us use our imagination for negative things. Let me give you an example. You walk in a room, your imagination looks at some people, or you look at a room, or you say, I'm not good enough. You say this, that, and the other, blah, 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 right? You say all kinds of things where you imagine the worst in environments. So you're using your imagination now to construct all these negative things on what you see, as opposed to taking that same imagination and seeing something different. So God gives you an imagination which activates your faith, but you're using your imagination for negativity. So how in the world, spend whatever time you got with your vision and use the imagination in that time frame for something positive, right? Last thing, I got this homie. They little, right? This is fairly little person, right? This little person. But you ever had a little person, but they had heavy hands? So when they hit you, they think they're hitting you light, but it feels real heavy. Like heavy-handed people. I want to submit to you, my third point is you don't realize how strong you really are. You don't realize what your capacity really is. I used to work with this business for like 2 years, and it was amazing what I was doing. I was going to church full time, doing all that, but driving to Temecula and back, San Diego and back, flying to different states, going to Las Vegas. I mean, this business had me everywhere. I was setting appointments with people, sitting down with them, doing all kinds of stuff. But it was interesting when I didn't have that to do. I was talking about how tired I was. I didn't know my own capacity. I didn't know uh, how how big or how much energy I really could. So one day I was sitting down and I asked myself, what if I took a fraction of the energy that I'm expending on this and put it into my own vision and dream? What would happen? I wonder what would happen if you expended the same energy that you expend on everything else. You're more heavy-handed than you know. Your capacity is bigger than what you think it is. So what would happen if I just focused in and took that energy and used it for something that would have to do with my dream and my vision? What would happen? I mean, I believe you would see some things you've never seen before. And that's your faith needs a target. You got to spend whatever time that you have with your vision, whatever time it is. And then you got to make sure that you realize your own strength. Don't sell yourself short. Don't just say, oh, I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that. Use what you got. Start wherever you are. So if 5 minutes is all you got to write in your book, take that 5 minutes and make sure you write that one good sentence. But at least that's faith in you for something more than survival. And I wanna say this. I was trying to pull in Angel and Ray, but for some odd reason, I think it has something to do with their settings. It's not coming in like I needed to, but I want to give you two thought processes, and I want to kind of close on this, and I'm going to try to see if I can get them in one more time. Most of us, what we do, I said this to a friend today, we identify problems and we sit in them, right? We identify problems and we sit. We identify the issue and then we just accept it. There's a scripture that says, casting down imagination. I love this part because sometimes what I realize is that there's some things that come to my mind, they're not my thoughts until I accept them. So it's like, I got to identify, I want to identify what's wrong, but I don't want to identify it and then accept it. I want to identify and then fight. I want to talk to some people out there. You ain't fought for yourself, and I don't know how long. Like, and some of us, we call fighting for ourselves when somebody offends us, and we say nobody gonna treat us like that. No. I'm talking about fighting. I'm talking about fighting you against you. Your biggest opponent is not from somebody. Is not somebody else. Your biggest hindrance is you. It's your own insides. It's your own mind. It's your own. You got. I want to give some people out there permission to dream in spite of life and responsibility. I want to give you permission to identify something, but choose to fight. This is the funny part. We so quick to fight somebody. Let somebody say something slick to one of us. Let somebody say something slick. We be ready. Let's go. I mean, but the reality of it is that what about us? What about when you beating your own self up? What about when you disqualify yourself? What about when you doing that to you? I'm saying fight you. Oh yeah, that's good. Because sometimes negative thoughts don't occur until somebody comes along as a negative Nancy. Exactly. Like somebody, isn't it crazy too? As soon as you make your mind up, I'm going to do this. Somebody come and say, you know what, Asia? You certainly can't do that because you're a worship leader. Like, who setting these boundaries? Who set these boundaries? And this is. I was reading this week in my devotional. I'm back on the devotion. Let me tell y'all something about people always talk about devotionals and stuff like that. Real talk. I was going through this whole thing where my cycles was just like up and down, up and down. I've gotten on a consistent path, but I had a devotional last week, dude. It was so crazy. It was in Matthew. I think it's chapter 7 somewhere. He says, you shall know them by the fruit. And it was crazy because in the devotional, it says, we stop fruit checking. This is going to what I just said to Asia. So let me get this straight. I'm looking at your fruit on your tree. and you ain't got none, but you got suggestions. I'm gonna let you infiltrate my mind and my heart, and you don't have any fruit on your own tree, but you want to dictate and direct mine. It's fruit checking time. Not that you can't listen to people. I believe you can learn from anybody, but it's fruit checking time. All of a sudden, I'm getting all kinds of suggestions, and I'm like, well, I mean, I take the suggestions, but I mean, so how are you using your faith? Are you using yours? So you want to dictate how I'm using my faith, but you're not using it for your own stuff. But you somehow you got enough faith to make a whole bunch of suggestions for me. Oh, I love that. Because at the end of the day, when people give you a negative forecast, they still can't predict my future. They got to wait to see, just like me. Check your own fruit. Let me see if I can get you in one more time, Ray. It just won't. Let me see here, man. Dang. Yeah, Ray, it won't let me. We got to figure that out afterwards, bro. I was trying to bring Ray on, one of the speakers, and Angel, but neither one of them, it's not letting me even invite them. I don't know what that's about. Let me try it. Let me see it again. No, it's not even giving that as an option for them. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm at. And I gave this before. Kid, if you can put this up for everybody, since I want to end on this, on the word responsibility, I want you to separate like this: responsibility. Responsibility. I broke that word down in the Latin. When you break the word down, re always means to return. Spon means promise. The suffix means to be accountable. I always look at responsibility like this. It's not just me being responsible, like for a duty, but it means to return to the promise that I made to myself and be accountable for it. To return to the promise that I made to myself and be accountable for it. Some of y'all are real responsible when it comes to taking care of your children, which is great. And I applaud you for that. Some of you are real responsible in your relationships, and I applaud you for that. That's the way you're supposed to be. But some of you have no responsibility. You don't return to the promise and be accountable for the promise that God gave you about your own life. You spend so much time operating in the roles the God-given roles you've been given, that you forget that God also gave you another destination and location. And I want to encourage you out there, man. The reason why I dedicated this to my mother and to Belinda is because if my mom was here, she would tell you, in addition to all your roles, I'm not telling you to stop any of that. All I'm saying is in addition to it, you got to fight for you. If Belinda was on here, she would tell you to fight for you. I'm sure there's many people out there that would tell you at some point you got to fight for you. And sometimes, like I said, your biggest problem or your biggest enemy against your dream is fear. And this is the thing. Somebody asked me today. They said, PJ, have you ever been scared? And the answer is that, yeah, man. To be honest with you, I experience fear often. They said, how do you deal with it? The only way I know how to deal with it is to attack it. I hate being scared, man. Like I hate being scared. Keep it 100. I went through some stuff in my life, and I was afraid. But what I did was, sometimes you got to borrow the faith of your homeboys and your homegirls. So what I did was I called Ray, and I called Dre, I called Tate, I called my people, and I was like, hey, listen, I know where I'm at, but I'm afraid. And literally what they did was they let me borrow some of their faith. And that's why you got to be careful who you're around, because everybody you don't have friends like that. You know what I mean? Where you can borrow from them. So some of us, before we can step out on faith, we need to change some of our circles and get some real friends that'll let us borrow faith when we don't have any. So I want to encourage y'all out there, man. You know, stay strong, man. God has something for you, man. I know you tired. I know you at work all the time. But God has something for you. And it's bigger than you think. Like, don't give up on it. I don't care how old you are. It ain't too late. I don't care how many times you think you missed it. It's never too late, man. As long as you breathing, I say go for it. As long as you breathing, go for it. I got some people I've been, we've been writing some stuff together, and we're just studying the children of Israel. And a lot of times, we give them a hard time. I've given them a hard time too, to keep it 100 with you. But I looked at this. No matter what I thought about them, what I realized is that I really feel like God would rather them die in the world, die trying, than die a slave. So for those of you who are worried about failing, I would rather die trying than die a slave. I would rather die trying, because at least I left slavery. Man, leave the imprisonment of your mind, dude. Leave slavery. Do something with yourself. Go after your dreams and your visions. I love y'all, man, more than y'all know. Ray and Jill, I'm gonna get y'all on the next one. We'll figure this thing out and go from there. All of my Session 5 team, all y'all on here, all my friends, man, thank y'all so much for getting on. I love y'all. Peace.